For those of you that have been following our journey to El Salvador way back in the summer of 2023, you know that we made a friend here. He goes by the name of Stan, and he was our driver, and he drove us all around last year when we came for our scouting trip, and we stayed in touch with him over the last year. We sent messages back and forth, memes back and forth, whatever it was. We kept in touch doing voice calls and just letting him know what our plans were and how things were going. And he happened to run into an old coworker of his who was just starting a shipping company business with a lawyer friend. So he gave us that information when he found out about it. I think it was around the spring of 2024. So we reached out to him and we started conversations with him. Now, one of the people is Ricardo and one of them is Diego. And Diego doesn't speak any English. So Ricardo was doing the translating on one of our calls, and then Ricardo's wife did the translation on our second call. And we decided based on that we would go with them and their company, which I'll put on the screen now. What made it really hard about getting a quote was because they wanted to know how much stuff, like how many pallets you would need and the weight of everything, and then what you were bringing. And every shipping company I talked to, I just said, well, we're bringing our household goods, and I don't know how much we need. So I could have said we had a 4,000 square foot house, that's 6 bedrooms and a 4,000 square foot garage, but we weren't taking all that stuff. We were downsizing. So I didn't really know how much we would need. Do we need a 20 foot? Do we need a 40 foot? Maybe less than a full load, which I'm pretty sure we knew that wasn't going to happen. But I didn't know till 2 days before we left that we only needed a 20 foot shipping container. Like that's how I really didn't understand the volume of stuff we had until it was put on the pallets itself. So I need to give you a little disclaimer. We met Diego and Ricardo when we came to El Salvador. We had to give them our 50% down for the container, and we really, really liked them. In fact, we liked them so much that we decided to go into a second business with them and their wives. And it's really a women-led business. It's really women helping women in many aspects. And I cannot wait to tell you more about this in the new year. We became good friends with them very fast, and it really was through this process of hiring them to do our shipping container. And at that time, that was the cheapest quote we had. When they give you a quote, it really is the shipping. Some people say we do a door-to-door service, and that was extra for the door-to-door. Some people say we'll help you pack. That's an extra service. But for us to do our packing and just the shipping, that was really what the quote was about. We didn't have an address of where things were going to go to when we got to El Salvador. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on because we didn't know when we got here where our stuff was going to go. So we had to come up with a few options there as well. And Ricardo and Diego helped us the whole way. So the quote was really just getting our stuff from our warehouse to El Salvador. And at that point, we'd have to decide where it was going to go at that point. And then those things would cost extra, of course.